there! My name is Miss Stevens, and today we're going to talk about the paintbrush. Did you know that a paintbrush has 3 parts? This part right here, it's called the handle. It's called the handle because you guessed it, that's where your hand goes, and your hand can go here. Your hand could go there. Your hand could go all the way back here, although it's a little bit tricky to control the brush. Deciding where to put your hand is how much control you will have over your paintbrush. The closer to the metal band, the more control you'll have. The further away, the less. This metal band right here, it's called the ferrule, but I like to call it the danger zone. Because if you put your fingers there, they are in danger of getting paint on them. Last but not least, we have its cute, pointy little toes. That's what I call these guys. They are actually the bristles. So today what we're going to do is practice painting with our brush being up and down or vertical. We're going to try really hard to keep our paintbrush, that I call a paintbrush ballerina, on its tippy toes. I want you to repeat after me. My paintbrush is like a ballerina. It's always on its tippy toes. It never, ever scoots around on its booty because nobody wants to go to the booty scooty ballet, which sounds pretty funny. So let's dive in and practice our painting.
Let's go over the parts of the brush again. This is the handle. That's where my hand goes. Where I put my hand is how much control I have over the brush. At the end, not much control. I like to hold it somewhere in the middle. The next part is the ferrule, or the metal band that I call the danger zone. I keep my fingers away from there, or they are in danger of getting dirty. And of course, the very end are the ballerina toes. I try to keep my brush on its toes, not pressing hard because I don't want to go to the booty scooty ballet. I'm painting with just water today because I'm practicing my holding my paintbrush. So I'm going to hold my paintbrush upright, not laying on its side, but standing up vertical and tall. And what I like to do is just follow the paintbrush ballerina's lines. I'm going slowly and carefully, and what I'm focused on is making sure that my paintbrush ballerina is on its toes. I don't want to go to the booty scooty ballet. So my paintbrush ballerina is lifted up and on its toes. If I take my brush and I press it very lightly on the paper, very lightly on the paper, it can make a very thin line because the paintbrush toes are just tickling the paper. If I press my brush down a little harder, not so hard that I'm at the booty scooty ballet, but just a little bit harder to give it some pressure, then I can make a thicker line. You can try making a pattern this way by pressing down and then lifting up and pressing down and lifting up, and that will give you a thick and then thin line. Once you feel like you've perfected that, you can try a wavy line. When you're painting a big line, one that really goes up and down, you might have to use your whole arm to go up and then come back down and up and back down. Because you're making a bigger line, you might have to use your whole arm to make that line, not just your hand. Finish with one side, let's try the other. It gets a little trickier on this side because now we're trying curved or curvy lines. You may need to slow down if your paintbrush resists or pushes against you as you paint. It's usually telling you that it needs more water, since we're just painting with water today. I'm going slowly to follow the lines, making sure to keep my paintbrush ballerina always on her tippy toes. Practicing over and over again will make it so that this gets a lot easier. Here I am using my arm to make a bigger line. Now I'm going to use just my hand to make a smaller up and down line. Sometimes you might even make a dashed line too, like these two next lines, where I just kind of tap my brush, but I'm always making sure that my Paintbrush Ballerina is on her tippy toes. The next line we're going to be making is called a spiral line. You can do a spiral two different ways. You can start on the outside and slowly go around and around until you get to the middle. I'm going to try that one more time. It'll look a little bit like a snail shell or maybe even a delicious cinnamon roll. Or you can start in the middle and go around and around to come out. Practice both ways to see which one you like to do better. Most of all, have fun, guys. Toodles!